How's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and I've got some really cool console news, and this time it revolves around the PlayStation 4. So anyways, let's get started. Alright, so some pretty cool news coming out of the Sony camp. The main headline is that PlayStation 4 Party Chat will be free for users, and that the friends list will be up to 2,000 people. So that is a relatively huge number. I think like some social media sites, obviously Twitter is unlimited how many followers you could have. I believe Facebook is around 5,000 friends you can have playing or have on your friends list at one time. And it's really cool to see that they're jumping up to 2,000. So Major Nelson mentioned at, it was E3, where he essentially said that it was going to be unlimited, but he had like quotes around that, meaning no one's going to have like 8,000 friends that they could have added. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know if everyone's going to have added, 8,000 friends. But it is a relatively huge jump compared to the, minuscule 100 that we are limited to right now. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to talk about some of the issues you might have, and some of the issues us YouTubers might have with this issue. So getting off the bat, the reason that the PlayStation 3 did not have Party Chat is that they didn't have enough RAM allocated to the operating system. So basically, since this is a gaming console and it doesn't have programs to run like Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, and Adobe programs, it's essentially just the operating system and then RAM allocated towards games. And unfortunately, it was a good and bad thing for the PlayStation 3. They had a lot of RAM allocated towards games, making it look beautiful, process smoothly, but they didn't allocate enough towards their operating system, and they didn't have enough RAM to include Party Chat. Party Chat is one of the main, giant features of Xbox Live, meaning you can talk to people who are playing different games, who are doing different things without having to interrupt the flow of what you're doing in your game. And I think that is a really cool concept, and that is going to be coming to the PlayStation 4, because this time the PlayStation 4 has allocated enough RAM for their operating system and enough RAM for their games. I think it was like a 5.5 and 3.5 split, so it's a pretty good amount of RAM for each, considering the Xbox was made 8 years ago and PlayStation 3 8 years ago, when they were putting less than a gigabyte of RAM into computers at sometimes. Now we're seeing 8 in a console that, and you think 8 gigabytes of RAM for a computer, which is average, that's the standard for today, a little bit above average. Don't get me wrong, that's a really nice computer, but for a console, 8 gigabytes of RAM is money. You're living in the money zone right there, because there's so much less to do. All it has to do is focus on its operating system and its gaming, so 8 gigabytes can go a long way. So the next thing I want to talk about, obviously friends list going up to 2,000. The issue with friends list today is I receive a ton of friend requests, and when I get friend requests, that takes up my friends list spot. So I'm going to be honest with you, I only have about 50 Xbox Live friends. I only friend people who I know I'm going to play with at some time or another. I'm not going to be having, randoms on there that, I might talk to like once a century, so I keep it relatively limited. But because I'm a YouTuber whose gamertag is in the limelight quite a bit, some people send me friend requests, and when I get these friend requests, it takes up spots that I might have to add other people. And I'm wondering if this will be an issue with 2,000 people. Can you imagine getting 1,000 friend requests in the span of a week? That would be way overload. So what I want to see is the ability to separate friend requests and probably put it into messages, and keeping your friends list separate, and just making it easier to organize, because with 2,000 people, I would like to see some sort of list system. So I don't know how it operates as well on the PlayStation Network, because I use my PlayStation to play single player games like The Last of Us and Heavy Rain, but on the Xbox 360, it's tough to scroll down. You can only use the left trigger and the right trigger to like jump like 8 at a time. But if you have 2,000 friends, that's going to take a while to navigate 8 at a time. What I would like to see is a search feature. So if you go on Facebook and you want to look at some of your friends, you can type in their first name, Ryan, and then a list of Ryans will pop up. Or what you can do is search by R's. So if you want to go from Ryan to, Rodney, I don't know, I'm making up R names right here. You can do that as well. So I think that would be a nice way and a nice change to easily navigate and flow through the system in a much better process. I mean, it is 2013. If they don't come up with an easy, simple, yet sophisticated way to design this friends list spot, I think it's going to be a huge issue, because I know that on the PlayStation Network and the Xbox 360, it is very clumsy and very clunky when you're trying to organize your friends, get friend request spots, etc., and it's not a good time. I remember early on in the PlayStation 3, you couldn't accept friend requests unless you were on the PlayStation Network dashboard, I guess you could say. You couldn't accept games, or you couldn't accept a friend request from a guy you were playing Call of Duty with. You'd have to write his name down, go to the dashboard, etc. So hopefully they have all these little issues resolved, and it'll be pretty easy and pretty seamless going forward. Anyways, guys, my name is Mr. Boss with the Wins. I love great news. When consoles come out with great news, I think it's a good time. We're all about improving things here. As much as we love console wars, it's great to see when a console makes an improvement, and I think Sony and the PlayStation 4 are doing that as we speak. Anyways, guys, like I said, take care. Thanks for watching, and of course, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.